As a consultant, always we like to play with PowerPoint. I hope you don't mind. It will follow what I'm about to tell you. Of course, probably all of you would like me to give you a lot of answers. That's exactly why you pay the consultant, like, give me the answers. But much more than answers, I will raise a lot of questions that probably later on we could answer together. So I'm really honored to stand before you today at the moment when the relationship between Europe and America is once again being tested. The question before us is urgent, immediate, and avoidable. What happens to Europe's place in the world under Trump's second term? Well, to answer that, we must begin with the truth that is impossible to ignore. The world of 2025 is not the world of 2016. Europe has changed. NATO is stronger, yet divided. The EU has grown in ambition, yet still struggles to define its role. America has changed. Trump's return is not just a change in leadership. It's a shift in strategy, in priorities, in power. For decades, the transatlantic relationship was built on the shared values, shared interests, shared commitments. But Donald Trump does not speak in the language of commitment. He speaks in the language of transactions. The question before us is not whether the United States is shifting its role. The question is whether Europe is ready to lead, ready to adapt, ready to defend its own interest in a world where American protection is no longer guaranteed. And so let's begin with NATO. For Donald Trump, NATO is not a shield of collective security. It's an invoice, a contract, not a commitment. He does not see it as an alliance, but as a business deal. Pay your share, or America steps back. And I'm saying this as someone who met him back in 2011. First thing he asked me while shaking hands was, "And what are you bringing to the table?" So there are two paths ahead. One path leads to a stronger Europe, one that invests in its own defense, strengthens NATO, refuses to let its security be dictated by another. The other path leads to doubt, to delay, to division. And NATO's greatest test may not come from foreign threat, even from Donald Trump. It may come from within. What of the European Union? For Trump, Europe is not a partner. It's a competitor, a rival in trade, in technology, in regulation. He sees Brussels not as an ally, but as an obstacle. And that means the storm is already here. Tariffs on European industries, yes. Pressure to abandon EU regulations on energy and finance, inevitable. Demands to pick a side in the US-China rivalry, without a question. The assumption that Europe and America will always stand together no longer holds. The challenge is clear. Will Europe take its place on the global stage, or will it once again be forced to follow? Nowhere will this be tested more immediate than, of course, in Ukraine. Trump has made no secret of his skepticism toward Ukraine's NATO ambitions. If we judge him by his words, the answer is no. But if we judge him by his instincts, the answer is more complex. Because Donald Trump doesn't see the war in Ukraine as a moral battle. He sees it as a bargaining chip. Could the second Trump presidency lead to a settlement with Russia? Could Ukraine's NATO membership be the price of that deal? These are not distant concerns. They are imminent. They will define the security of this continent for years to come. For years to come. Meanwhile, Moldova and Ukraine's future in the European Union will not be decided in Washington. It will be decided in Brussels, in Berlin, in Paris, here in Bucharest as well. Will the EU turn promises into action? Will it prove that enlargement is not just a dream, but a strategy? What about Western Balkans? So, credibility, once lost, is not easily regained. Let me ask you again, is Europe ready? What do you think? Is Europe ready to stop waiting for a predictable America and start preparing for an unpredictable world? Is Europe ready to act as a geopolitical power rather than just economic bloc? Ready to stand firm against pressure, against doubt, against the forces that would divide it? Because this is not just another chapter in transatlantic relations. It's a test. Test of Europe's unity, test of its leadership, a test of its resolve. We live in a time when alliances are tested, when trade is weaponized, when wars still rage. The world is shifting actually beneath our feet. So the only question is not whether Europe will adapt or react. That choice is not Trump's to make. It's ours. And history will for sure remember what we will decide. If I have the only one answer to all of these questions, it will be something that we didn't see here on these panels. They were primarily manuals. So one of the solutions that I see might be attract more women into politics. I think things would be much better. Thank you for your attention.